Welcome, everyone. I'm Jordan Blaze, and I want to begin with a hard truth. Literacy is the key that unlocks every other subject, every career path, and every opportunity our students will face. Yet across our nation, too many students, especially in communities like ours, are being left behind. Let's ground ourselves in what research tells us. Students engage more deeply when texts are culturally relevant. SEL integrated literacy accelerates recovery from pandemic learning loss. And identity plus joy are not extras. They're the fuel that keeps motivation alive. Take a moment to highlight or star the point that resonates most with you on page 3 in your binder. Now, look at the gap. National NAEP data shows only 7% of Black students in California scored proficient in reading, while state test data shows over 30%. What does this mean? Different measures, yes, but also the hidden truth that some of our most vulnerable students don't even make it into the testing pool. Numbers matter, but here's the bigger point. Behind every data point is a child, a story, a potential world changer. And now, I want to hear from you. This is where we pause. Open your binder to the reflection section and respond to this. Why does this work matter to you and your community? Think about your students' faces, their stories, their dreams. Write it down. Hold it close. Pause the video now. When you're ready, press play, and we'll move forward together. Welcome back. I'm Jordan Blaze. In Module 1, we asked why this work matters. Today, let's look at the how. How story itself can be the engine that drives literacy growth, social emotional learning, and motivation all at once. Stories are more than entertainment. They're how children build identity, empathy, and hope. When kids see themselves in a story, it's like flipping a switch. Suddenly, reading is not a chore, it's personal, it's powerful. Decades of research affirm this truth. Culturally relevant stories increase comprehension and persistence. When SEL skills are woven into narrative, students practice them without even realizing it. And motivation soars when identity is affirmed. Because joy is contagious. Take a moment to jot down which of these findings feels most important to you. Think about your students. Have you noticed that when a book mirrors their culture or reality, they lean in closer? Or when a character wrestles with emotions they've felt, your classroom discussion suddenly comes alive? That's the power of story. It breaks down walls, it builds bridges, and it transforms literacy into a lived experience. Now, let's make this personal. I want you to pause the video and write down your reflections. When was the last time you saw a student light up? Because a story reflected who they are or what they dream about. If nothing comes to mind, that's okay. Imagine what it would feel like if every child had that experience regularly. Pause the video now, reflect, and when you're ready, press play, and we'll move forward together. Think of this as your roadmap. For 6 to 8 weeks, you'll guide students through the first 3 chapters of Unleashing Greatness. Along the way, you'll blend literacy, social emotional learning, and joyful engagement into one seamless experience. Here's the rhythm you can expect. Weeks 1 and 2, launch the novel and give the pre assessment. Weeks 3 and 4, teach the core literacy lessons and introduce the first chapter quest. Weeks 5 and 6, extend into creative projects and family engagement. And in the final week, post assessment plus a showcase celebration. This flow is flexible. You can adapt it for ELA blocks, after school programs, or even Saturday academies. Everything you need is already built for you. The Kingdom of Shadows novel as your anchor text, a teacher guide with pacing and scaffolds, student workbooks that combine literacy and SEL tasks, chapter quests that gamify learning, a pre, mid, and post assessment suite to measure growth, and optional parent playbooks to bring families into the journey. It's a turnkey package. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Now, I want you to step back and reflect. Which part of this structure excites you most? Is it the story itself, the chapter quests, the family engagement, or the chance to track real data? Pause the video now, write your thoughts. Then, when you're ready, press play, and we'll continue together. Welcome back. I'm Jordan Blaze, and this is Module 4, Practical Implementation. So far, we've explored the why, and we've looked at the structure of this pilot. Now let's zoom in on the how you bring it alive in your classroom. Because here's the truth, a beautiful plan only matters if it works in the rhythm of real teaching. Most teachers weave this pilot into their regular ELA block, but it also works beautifully after school or in small groups. Here's a daily pattern you can try: 5 minutes, hook and vocabulary; 15 minutes, shared or independent reading; 10 minutes, guided discussion or reflection; 10 minutes, activity or chapter quest step; and 5 minutes, a quick share or journal close. That's about 45 minutes, give or take. You can stretch it or shrink it. The key is balance, a mix of skill, story, and student voice. Here's what this looks like in action. During Chapter 1, stop at the tear in the sky scene. Ask, would you step through? Why or why not? In Chapter 2, connect the proverb, a single bracelet does not jingle, to teamwork in the classroom. In Chapter 3, use the sacred ring as a symbol exercise. Ask, what objects in your life carry meaning? Notice how the academic skills, vocabulary, inference, symbolism, blend seamlessly with SEL, courage, empathy, leadership. Let's pause here. Here's your reflection prompt. Which part of this daily flow would be easiest for you to implement tomorrow? And which part feels like it might stretch you? Pause the video now, jot your answers. Then, when you're ready, press play to continue. Before we close this module, let me share a few tips from other pilot teachers. First, use the playbook and workbooks exactly as they're built. Don't overcomplicate it. Second, lean on the chapter quests to keep energy high. Kids love them. Third, celebrate growth, not perfection. And remember, you don't have to be perfect, you just have to be present. In Module 5, we'll dive into how to track progress without adding to your workload. Welcome back. I'm Jordan Blaze, and this is Module 5, Data and Reflection. Here's the thing, when people hear data, they often think testing, stress, or spreadsheets. But this pilot flips that script. Our goal is to measure growth, not to grade or punish. In this pilot, data is woven in gently through 3 touch points. First, the pretest, before Chapter 1, a baseline in vocabulary, comprehension, fluency, and writing. Second, the mid-test, after Chapter 2, a short check-in just to see progress. Third, the post-test after Chapter 3. Same measures as the pretest so you can see real growth. That's it. 3 points, short, simple, and designed for insight. All results go on a single-page scoring sheet. Vocabulary percent correct, comprehension percent, words correct per minute for fluency, and a 0 to 3 rubric for writing. We also add a simple SEL tracker, just a smiley face self-check students fill out at pre, mid, and post. This way, you see not only academic progress, but also confidence and engagement. Let's pause here. Here's your reflection prompt. What's one data point you think will be most useful for you? Vocabulary, comprehension, fluency, or SEL confidence? Pause the video now. Write your choice and one reason why. Then, when you're ready, press play to continue. Here's the most important thing. These assessments are short, low stakes, and teacher-friendly. They're designed to celebrate student progress and give principals a snapshot of success. Think of it this way. You're gathering stories and numbers, and those numbers help open doors for scaling programs like this. In Module 6, we'll talk about what comes after the pilot, sustainability and scaling. Welcome back. I'm Jordan Blaze, and this is Module 6 Sustainability and Scaling. So far, we've walked through the why, the what, and the how of your pilot. Now we shift to the bigger picture how to keep the momentum going, and how schools can grow this from a single classroom into a school wide success story. Sustainability means two things. First, teachers feel confident using the ecosystem on their own. Second, students keep showing growth beyond the pilot window. That's why everything in Unleashing Greatness is designed to be flexible. Teachers can run it during core ELA blocks, after school, or in family engagement nights. The materials, novel, workbooks, quests, playbooks, are reusable and expandable. Scaling is about moving from one classroom to many. There are three common pathways: horizontal scaling, adding more classrooms at the same grade; vertical scaling, expanding into multiple grades, from third through sixth; community scaling, adding parent and family engagement as a school wide initiative. Each pathway builds on the success stories you create during the pilot. Let's pause here. Here's your reflection prompt. Which pathway feels most realistic for your school? Horizontal, vertical, or community scaling, and why? Pause the video now. Write your thoughts in the binder, then restart when you're ready. Sustainability isn't about adding more work. It's about embedding a system that already works. When a school scales, it means more students see themselves in stories. More families get involved. More teachers have tools that make literacy joyful again. That's the power of scaling. What starts with one pilot classroom can ripple through an entire community. In Module 7, we'll bring it all together. Welcome to our final module. I'm Jordan Blaze, and this is Module 7, Pulling It All Together. We've walked through the research, the story, the structure, the classroom moves, and even the pathways for scaling. Now it's time to step back and see the whole picture. This pilot is not just about 3 chapters of a book. It's about launching a literacy journey that unites students, teachers, and families. Here's what we've built together: a clear purpose, literacy, identity, and engagement woven together; a practical structure, 6 to 8 weeks of lessons, quests, and family links; a growth lens, pre, mid, and post assessments that spotlight progress; a sustainability plan, teachers leading confidently, schools scaling with intention. This is the Unleashing Greatness ecosystem, built for students, but carried by all of us. Take a moment to pause and reflect. Here's your prompt. Which part of the pilot feels most powerful for you? And how will you use it? Pause the video now. Write your thoughts in the binder, then restart when you're ready. As we close, I want you to imagine a student in your classroom, one who might be behind in reading or unsure of their voice. Now picture them, 6 weeks from now, turning a page and saying, "I see myself in this story." That's the impact we're chasing, and that's why this pilot matters. Together, we're proving that literacy can be joyful, culturally rich, and life changing. So let's unleash greatness, starting today.